bought this house, we planned on building a wall and making a bedroom for the girls. I never planned on making the other part of the downstairs my studio, but it just works. Let me show you a little bit of what we've been doing. So we've been mudding this wall, and this is gonna be the main backdrop for the YouTube channel. There's still blemishes though. There's an indentation in the wall right there. But then over here, here's another wall that we've been taking care of. And I found out when you're doing drywall, one of the biggest problems I've had is the tape. I don't know if you can see that, but the tape bubbles up. And you essentially have to cut it out and remud it. So we've already mudded twice so far. I've been sanding for hours, and I've only been able to accomplish out here. Everything's at a standstill. I had to kick the girls out of their room. My computer is covered in a sheet, and I'm hoping we can get this done this week. This is with the first coat of paint on the wall. So I came home and my wife surprised me. She already had the girls' room painted twice, completely finished with it, letting it dry. And she even put LED strip lights all around the room. The girls practically have a party in their bedroom. It is awesome. And that allowed me to come straight in here and put my first coat on. And I wanted to wait and let it dry, so I'm gonna put the second coat on tomorrow. I'm really excited how this basement's turning out. Now, I will tell you right now, the drywall, it was horrible. I've come to realize that I despise drywall, and I'm really glad it was in the basement and not upstairs. But I would almost like to try it again. I would like to get better at it and figure out what I did wrong. This wall, I am amazed at how well this wall looks, but you may not be able to see it on camera, but I can see the lines. I can kind of see where the tape is and where there's like a cross in the middle of the wall. I can see it. Now, when we put the drywall up though, the drywall wasn't flush either, so it's kind of obvious. It's not gonna be perfect. But I called a buddy of mine up, he's a private contractor, and I hope you watch this video, by the way. But I called him up and I told him, I was like, drywall stinks. I spent hours sanding. And he's like, well, what kind of mud did you use? Well, I used the stuff you told me to buy, the green all-purpose stuff. Oh, well, that has glue in it and it's good for taping, but when you go to do the sanding, there's another lighter kind, a blue kind that's better to use. I didn't know that. So I'm like, so I've been doing it the harder way the whole time because I've been sanding this by hand. And then he's like, well, you can also, for about $100, go get a sander that has like a vacuum attachment or whatever. Wait a minute, you use electric sanders? I was told you can't use electric sanders on drywall. And they said, well, if you don't want to spend the money for an electric sander, you can also get like a sanding pad, sanding type thing that has a pole on it. And I knew about those, but I thought it was just for hard to reach places. And he's like, oh no, that's so you can get more leverage into it, put more pressure on it, and it sands faster. Oh, okay. So I've been sanding with these little, hold on a minute. All right, I guess I better be careful. I completely threw my recorder on the floor. It was sitting in my lap. I was sanding with these. The entire wall, this wall, that wall, the two walls in the girls' room, all the corners, everything with this thing. And apparently that was the hard way to do it. And I was sanding the hard stuff that has glue in it. So that was a challenge. It was a chore, but I'm glad we did it. And boy, it turned out good. I'm really excited. And when I was putting it on the wall, me and Rachel were talking about the color, and I'm like, no, I want darker. Oh no, that's too dark. No, I want darker. And then I wanted matte, and no. Well, the store talked me out of matte, and I went with satin. Don't know if it was the right choice or not, but actually with the light, with a green gel on it going up on the wall, doesn't look bad. Actually, it looks good with blue and purple too, but I like green. I thought it was too light. I thought that it had too much of a shine to it, but it actually turned out really good, and I'm really excited. The next step, which it's gonna take some time before I can do all this, I'm gonna put 2 shelves on the wall back here. I'm gonna put lighting up here, like LED lighting strips, and we're also gonna put sound panels across this whole room, because I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell a whole lot after I get done editing, but the sound is horrible, and I'm using a lav mic to try to fix a little bit of that. But yeah, down here, it's a work in progress. There was a phrase that I heard from somebody else, and it blew my mind, and I realized this is my problem. And it's when knowledge outpaces execution. That's when you consume so much content, you learn so much about a certain topic, but if you're not executing and actually doing the thing that you're learning about, then there's a disconnect between what you think you know or what you're trying to learn and what you actually know. And there's a lot of negative consequences to allowing that to happen. And I realized that I was kind of letting it happen in my own life with a lot of different things. I'm not gonna talk about that right now, except for the fact that nobody ever gets better. You never get better unless you actually do it. The drywall. I watched YouTube videos. These guys made it look like a piece of cake. They mudded on the wall, just slapped it on there real fast, put the tape on there. Okay, a little bit narrow strip, and then your second pass later, you do a wider pass, put extra pressure on the outside, and make it all nice and smooth. People in the comments saying, oh yeah, the sandpaper companies are gonna hate that, oh. And I go to do it, and it does not turn out the way the guy was showing on there. And I'm like, why not? This is just not coming out right. When I went to start this project, I was calling my buddy left and right. Hey, what kind of wood do I buy? What kind of putty do I buy? What kind of drywall do I buy? And I'm asking all these questions. And when he was telling me about the mud and the putty, I had no idea what it was, how to use it, or what the different kinds would even matter. But now that I've actually done it, I understand a little bit more, and it makes sense when he tells me things. Why? Because there's experience. There's nothing in life that you learn unless you actually do it. And if you shy away from things just because it makes you uncomfortable, because you've never done it before and you're afraid of messing up, then you will never learn and you'll never get better. So I love building things. I love welding and woodworking, but I don't like home projects to where they have to come out right. Tiling and drywall and things that when you're done, it's supposed to look professional. I'm thinking, nah, these professionals know all the tips and tricks. I don't know a thing. I don't want to touch it. But you know what? Just get out there and do it, right? So I guess the lesson for today is just do it. I got almost nothing accomplished today except what I'm super excited about. The walls are done. That's the second coat and it looks good. So I'm excited about that. And now, next week, I'll be able to put the shelves up. But let's go get the boards and see how they look on camera behind me. I love getting boards that have character. Do you mind? I love boards that have character, that have like knot holes in them and things like that. So we can see a little bit more. This one has one knot hole that I like. Let's see. All right. If I do this. Scared me, I thought I scratched the wall. Let's see if I can get some help. All right, so I want you to sit like where I would normally sit at.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now, if that's where I'm normally at, I'm gonna put these shelves up. Try not to scratch the paint off the walls.
Oh, maybe you should not do it right now.
Yeah, well,
Is that where we're gonna have it?
something like that. Okay, so,
Yeah.
all right, so they'd have to be over here.
Or you can put it wherever you want.
Yeah, but that's where my camera's gonna be at. So should I do it really low like this, where it's at your shoulders?
Yeah.
These are really long shelves too, or deep. See how deep they are? So that they might almost seem too deep, but so the second one be like way down here? Look at the camera like normal. No, not at the monitor, at the camera. All right, so if the first one is like here, that's almost straight, but it doesn't look straight on camera. Should we just do one shelf down here and then put the other shelf on the other wall where people can't see it?
Yeah. What's it called? Help me out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The wood that's behind that wall.
All right, so then we'll put the other shelf over there. Are you running away from me? Now, what are you gonna do if I plaster this all over the internet?
Beat you.
I might do it anyways. Rachel went back upstairs and I'm trying to get this dialed in with the settings and all that fun stuff. But I think we decided to put one shelf here and one shelf there. And she's hollering for me, probably because it's dinner time. They're getting dinner ready. Thanks for joining us today. And if you're gonna build your own studio, just do it. I feel like there should be something else I should say right now, but I'm drawing a blank. So, like always, work harder and smarter. Stay diligent.